Christoph.
Hello. We should be live.
Hello. Hey. Hello, internet.
Hello, world.
Hello, internet. No, that's her. I shouldn't punk. I shouldn't punk you. There's no echo. It's being stupid. My gift.
I think I can hear everybody. Yep. All right, cool. We can hear you. Alrighty. So we got with us, we got AJ and Kelly and Steven, and we've also got Andrew chilling in the audience. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. And
I got to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
so
Thank you. I actually hadn't ever talked to you like voice, so it's good to hear you.
yeah, mostly we just kind of talked like via your stream. I think that was the one time where you're talking but I'm chatting in the side chat, and
Yeah,
other than that it's just been text, come to think of it.
same. Yeah.
So yeah, so what I obviously we can continue with the topics that we're going with today, which I heard some mentions of hypnotism. And we also have the topic of starting your school year with atheism. So
Ooh,
Interesting.
whatever
Interesting. That sounds good.
yeah, whatever that leads to. So fire away, whatever suits your fancy.
I see. Andrew has written that he could never be hypnotized, and I tend to feel that way because nobody's ever even tried to hypnotize me. But also because, whenever I've tried to do those kind of woo type things, I've never felt a damn thing. But I also have a crushing sense of my own fallibility, and so I think if it can be done, it can be done to me. But it would be interesting. I wonder, like, you see those shows about these hypnotists, and of course, because it's a show, you don't know what's real and what's not, who's playing along or whatever. But they're able to get people to do these wild and sometimes embarrassing things that they would never ordinarily do, supposedly. Yeah, it's quite a. I still do kind of wonder: is it real, or is this a hoax? Are we being hoaxed here?
So I
So,
looked a little bit. Oh yeah, go ahead, Vic.
so I do have an experience with working with a hypnotherapist.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, when they talk about like the power of suggestion, they really do mean it literally, where they're just usually for those kinds of like crazy shows, they're just testing to see whether or not that person is willing to play along no matter what. Like are they like relaxed enough to just do
Right,
whatever they tell them to do?
right.
And
But then it seems like their own volition has been overtaken, and then they come out of it and they're like, "What? What did I do? What?" What do you
Yeah.
think of
so
that?
yeah,
So
that I can't speak to, but mostly it's been like when people have talked about it, like so that wasn't the kind of experience I had. Mine was like a thing more like a meditation sort of thing, and
Right.
honestly, I felt no different than like guided meditation, but with interviews that I've seen of people who who've talked about being there, they said that it just feels like they're free to just be loose, and it's like an excuse to go with the flow, right?
yeah, I don't think it's
Wow.
necessarily an excuse. So here's my understanding of it is that it's kind of an altered consciousness, like you said, a state of meditation, sort of. And what happens is suggestibility. So the hypnotherapist will start telling the person how to feel,
Yeah.
and where their thinking should take them and such. And there are certain people who are a lot easier to convince of that, and they're, again, based on their life experiences, will have a lot to do with whether it works for you or not. And a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be somebody who I think that would work well on, or that I think I would be amenable.
Right,
I'm
but
fairly,
yeah,
fairly covetous of my own autonomy, so kind of like, I know.
Yeah.
and your preconceived notion of how it's gonna work will also have to do with whether it works or not. Because if you
Yeah.
go in thinking it's not gonna work for me, then more than likely it won't. It's kind of like
Okay.
if you look at a piece of food that you've never had before and you're thinking, well, this looks slimy, or it looks like it's gonna be bitter and I'm not gonna like it, and then you taste it, you're way more likely to not like it. Same with these things.
I think there should also
Yeah.
be a distinction. So what AJ is describing is definitely that's definitely more the case for hypnotherapy. I think the thing that they do on stage, though, at least from people who've been interviewed about it, later on, some, continue to say that like they just felt relaxed and into it, while others will go into a little bit more detail, saying that they just felt like they were comfortable to go with the flow and to go into it. It was less like what um is frequently, and that's for stage performances. I think it's less uh like the actual like hypnotherapy sessions where that's more like a guided meditation than
Okay.
a
Yeah, that's very
performance.
likely. So there was a study that I read recently where they were talking about the way certain external things affect the brain, right? Like your function of your brain. And the prefrontal cortex is where the part that you use to make decisions. So they were talking about how when somebody is engaged in any type of sexual act, whether it be sex itself or like foreplay and stuff, that part of your brain is the function of that part of the brain is lower and lower and lower the more you are in that state.
Okay.
And so your capacity to make decisions during that time is lowered. That's why a lot of people make bad decisions when they have sex, like having unprotected sex and stuff, right? So
Okay,
but
good.
it's brain stuff. It's the way the brain works, and so it can be anything, literally anything. If you're too dehydrated, if you haven't had food that day, if you're stressed out, if you had, I don't know, if you smoke some weed, or if you have alcohol, all of these things, or again sex, all of these things can affect the way your decision making works, and other things that you will need your forebrain capacity for. And I think that what hyp- what hypnotism does is it kind of lowers some of those functions so that you're more susceptible to doing what you're being asked to do.
I could see
And
that in a potential meditative state. Sorry, go ahead, Kelly.
Right.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
can I suggest a book
Sure.
on this subject? It's called Mind Games: The Guide to Inner Space by Robert Masters and Gene Houston. And it's a lot of exercises to there's like a lot of it is almost like self hypnosis. And there was some group exercises. I know they've got an updated version of the book. I don't know if the group, I'm sure they are, because it says here you can use, therapists can use it. So I would always be the person who was like running the sessions, and basically it was just I was putting people in a relaxive state that they were at the edge of hypnotism. And it was like exploring things with your mind when you were in this state. It was pretty fucking cool. I was glad we did it. Unfortunately, I have a hard time being hypnotized, so I decided to be the guide through it all. Me and a group of people did it while I was in college, way back in the 80s. Fucking awesome, though.
Yeah, it's definitely not like fake. It's not pseudoscience. It's science. Like the way the brain works. The way we can manipulate the brain in so many different ways.
Yeah, the book's by 2 PhDs, if that makes any difference, but I can put a
Yeah, I
link
think
to it in the chat.
that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. Yeah.
I
I
found
think
it.
that
I just
there
found it at
are
Barnes and Noble.
I think that there are a lot of misconceptions with it, at least to my experience, uh, especially because everyone experiences it differently, and so you're never going to hear like the same experience twice. But you know, I'm I would say that if the closest like I've ever gotten to the kind of hypnosis that people tend to think of when they hear hypnosis, where
Mm-hmm.
you're acting essentially like you're sleepwalking, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much like when I'm in that half asleep state, and in that half asleep state, I pretty much will do whatever the person is asking me to do if my like body has the strength to do it in that moment. So, like if someone asks me to, like I've been asked to while asleep, no memory of this, get out of bed, um, like go find something for someone, give it to them, and then go back to bed. And I'd have no memory of it in the morning. Um,
But
so,
it's
yeah.
all about the way it changes the amount of certain neurotransmitters that make connections in your brain. Just the way that it will happen. Let's say if you drink too much, and your brain connections are going to completely change from what they are when you're sober, and you stop having the capacity to make decisions, then you will be in that state where you more than likely are not going to remember a lot of the decisions that you just made, a lot of the words that you just said to people, and then the next day, people are going to be like, hey, you remember this? And you're like, absolutely not. It's because a lot of our brain functions are so low at that point
Hmm.
that it doesn't even record as a memory. Like you will more than likely never remember that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so I could definitely see like if someone got to the point where they were really comfortable with the therapist and um they could get to that uh half asleep meditative state, like I could absolutely see it um being more possible for not like the performance stage requests, but things that you would expect in like a hypnotherapy session where people are asking them um you know deep questions, or suggesting things to that would help them um feel like more relaxed when they wake up, or be able to sleep better, things like that. In my case, it was mostly to combat the like anxiety and grief that I was experiencing from, you know,
Mm.
both, losing loved ones and also from having chronic health issues at the time. And you know, it it helped as like a meditative thing, but I think probably the most helpful was on top of that, um, learning tools to identify, when the problematic, uh, states would come up, and to prepare for them and be able to prevent escalation. I definitely recommend that for anyone who is having, you know, any struggles with mental health. You know, it took a really long time for me to find the right therapist that would help teach me the tools that I needed. Um,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of, it was a lot of trial and error, but like for a solid 2 years, I was just, looking for therapists, and I found the last one when I was pretty much giving up. It was just kind of offered as a, like a, hey, you're already at this clinic. You want to see the therapist that's here since we're here? And it's like, all right, fine. So, um,
Mm.
I recommend people keep trying if they need it.
Yeah, that's been my experience too, to keep trying to, keep, yeah. I turn over if you're not getting that news.
Yeah, there's so many different types of therapies, and you just have to try one. And if it doesn't work, then don't just give it up. Like, don't be like, well, therapy doesn't work. You just try the next one. And also, the therapists themselves are not always the right fit for everyone. So
Yeah.
if the first one isn't a good match for you, it's perfectly fine to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna find somebody else.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Andrew makes a good point in the chat to say that therapists benefit city folks. Is that what he said? Therapists that benefit city folk get.
And when you have the money and insurance, yeah.
Yeah, like when you have money and insurance. So yeah, not everybody has the privilege of being able to get therapy. Also, in some places, it's a lot harder to get it, even if you're in the city. I live like in a very big city, and when my kid needed therapy, there was like a 12-month wait list, and we were like shocked at the fact that that was a thing in such a big city, like one of the main metropolitan cities in the U.S. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, the US mental health care system is awful. There's definitely a mental health care desert uh, in my state of Texas. Like even when I had insurance, like I had
Oh.
private insurance that was pretty decent, and I could not find a therapist that took on like adult therapy uh within 3 hours of me, um like a 3 hour drive. So all of them were like child therapists, the ones that I could find, um or uh they were the like specialists that didn't know how to handle a case like mine where there's a lot of medical complications.
Right.
So, it's unfortunate now. So like I'm in a case now where that's pretty much not even I probably couldn't get the same therapist even if I tried, but um I definitely recommend people try as many of the free uh applications for therapy. So like there's seculartherapy.org, um, that can try to find a place that's local. There's also the Recovering from Religion Foundation,
that's
which
right.
can
Yeah.
also they can also hook you up with places as well. It doesn't have to be related to religion. They can just help you find therapists that aren't necessarily, you know, tied to like faith and spirituality and
Yeah.
everything. Which in my
Well,
case,
it's
that was worked for me.
pretty stringent criteria from what I hear to be one of those therapists. Like, I know I shouldn't be talking about it, what I don't really know, but I did hear that, yeah, they're fairly stringent about the therapists. Yes, the way they probably, I guess it must be their approach. So not a huge number. Like in Sydney, I think I could only find Sydney, Australia. I could only find I really only find just that was a while ago. Maybe
Yeah,
it
that's
was
another
not.
tricky over there. Like here in the, I don't
Yeah.
know if you have this option over there, but here in the US after COVID, there was a lot of virtual doctor visits for like things that
Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to go in person, and that's how I did my
yeah,
last therapy virtual. So I
Yep.
mean, it was
yeah.
this
That
year
is
though, so
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
that was the only way that I could get a therapist when I started seeing one was to do it online. Um,
yeah.
and there were quite a few therapists that, you know, I had only ever just like met and done sessions online because, you know, it is such a healthcare desert. But
Yeah, well,
sometimes, especially if let's say that you're working with a limited health insurance, sometimes they won't approve a telehealth visit. They'll only approve like an in-person visit. And that's when you're screwed and you can't find anyone in person. But uh thankfully since COVID, I think they've been a little bit more lax with that, but it's not perfect.
mm. Yeah, I agree. I think I mean that's how I've been. That's how I've been doing therapies through virtual connection. It's been great. I mean, I think one thing it's interesting at the beginning of COVID, there was some muted discussion of the mental health risks or increased risk of mental health or mental illness due to the isolation. And, I kind of feel, I mean, this is to do with my health issues as well, I think. But yeah, I feel like I've become a little bit agoraphobic. Like I'm really
Mm.
pretty reticent to actually going out somewhere. But
Yeah,
I mean, that's partly because it is really tough for me physically. Yeah, so that's sort of like freeze the waters. But I do suspect I do suspect that's probably going on at a societal level.
I totally understand that. In fact, I had a major screw up this week because uh, I was like, I was so worn out from
Mhm.
going out to a doctor's appointment on Monday
Oh, yeah,
that,
I can relate. Yeah.
yeah, it was just one doctor's appointment, but like just one outing, even if it's
Mm,
like
mm.
3, 4 hours, like that is just, I'm exhausted. Like, because all of
Yeah, yeah,
the
it is
prep to get
exhausting.
to the point where you can go and then actually doing the whole thing, like it just,
Yeah,
it just takes up so much energy. And by the time I got home, the thing that I was supposed to do that I couldn't do that morning, I was supposed to make some calls. I forgot. I didn't remember until
yeah,
Thursday morning,
I
and
can completely relate.
I
Yeah, yeah,
I went
completely.
into emergency mode from it. So, yep, that's
Yeah, yeah,
totally, that's
yeah.
a big chronic health issue. Like
And do
anytime
you
someone's
find
dealing with chronic illness.
You find nobody else gets it about the tiredness, about the exhaustion that it causes. I found, yeah, that's been a struggle for many people. Just don't get it. They don't get what you're going through.
That's something that I really needed community for, was to find more
Yeah,
people who could understand that chronic fatigue that comes with, chronic illness.
yeah.
And, you know, having to make just, hard decisions of really basic necessities. Like,
Yeah.
do I, uh, wash my hair today, or
Mm.
do I prep dinner? Like
Yep. Yeah.
things that are like
It
basic
sucks.
maintenance.
Exactly. Trying to keep this physical unit functioning, and yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, and it's always like
it
you can never do both. You can only choose one, or that
sucks.
uh that
Yeah.
triangle, like there are three choices and you can only pick two.
Yeah. Can I ask, are you still part of those communities you were
Uh,
mentioning?
so I don't have a like specific uh chronic health like chronic illness community. I tend to find a lot of people in the secular humanist community who often,
Mm,
share
mm.
these struggles.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
and
we
That's
actually
interesting.
shared
Yeah.
a lot of the same health issues, right? I know we talked about it before.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do. And it was um it started with the daily atheist show that like I was finding a couple of people who also dealt with chronic health issues. And
Mm,
so I was really interested in like joining the Discord and getting to know people who were like that. And
yeah.
so you'll
Yeah.
actually find there are quite a few people here in the damn Discord server that have um, chronic illness issues that,
Mm,
we're all struggling with, even though
yeah.
that's not
Right.
specifically what the community is based on. It's just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
tend
That's
to
cool. Yeah.
find each other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Interesting. It
Yeah,
kind of makes sense. Sorry. Go
when I was
ahead.
at the this event this past weekend, NanoCon, which is the Nashville Nones Convention, and Chris was there. Chris Mallard was there. I got to meet him. He's very, very tall. But yeah, I ran into Godless Engineer, and we were chatting because we both used the same insulin pump, and it turns out we had the same tattoo. So it's good to
Cool.
like be like, hey, like find
Mm,
your people with similarities. It's always
that's
fun.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's very
Mm,
sweet.
mm.
Yeah, he actually took a picture with me. We were both like showing off our DNA helix tattoos and our pumps and stuff.
I love that. That's cute. Uh, yeah,
Mm,
I wish, honestly, if there was a skeptic convention that took place relatively close to where I am, which conventions seem to happen pretty often, near, I'm like 2 hours, like 1.5 hours north of Houston, and there's this area in Conroe that's pretty close nearby, and they seem to have conventions there pretty often. I haven't seen a skeptic convention yet, but I would love to attend one.
mm,
Well, there is something coming up. It's not necessarily a convention, but it's an event put together by the atheist community of Austin. And so it's in Austin, August 16th weekend. And what's his name? Forrest that guy, he's gonna be there. So
Oh, wow.
like
Oh,
the first
okay.
day is paid, but the second day on Sunday you can go and like sit in the studio, watch the live shows, hang out with the people. I went there last year, and my family didn't go to the cruise part, which was the paid
Mm-hmm.
part, just me.
Mm-hmm.
But then we all went together to the Sunday stuff, and they got to meet Forrest and all the other cool people. Kelly Laughlin, who happens to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, it's
Very
pretty
good.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds
that
Uh,
if it wasn't
when the
such a
cruises,
long drive, unfortunately Texas is huge, but if it wasn't such a long drive,
Yeah.
I'd probably go. My brother's nearby, but I am not going to be able to, well, I have to stay at home while the rest of my family goes to visit them because we have a dog that is very codependent.
I can relate to that too. You
Yeah,
sounded like you cut out a bit there. Sorry.
Oh,
I always drive down from almost in Canada.
yeah.
You
Well,
said from almost in Canada. You're really up far north.
Yeah, I'm above Wisconsin and Michigan. And
yeah,
there
pretty
is a
So
bit
much
of
close.
Michigan
Canada.
above Wisconsin, so yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. I want to have a TARDIS or something to do
I think
it.
it was a 21-hour drive, I think.
Oof, yeah.
oh, wow. I
But
did a
I'm gonna
Jeez,
long.
wow.
this year I'm gonna drive to Canada the first, or not Canada, Chicago the first day. I don't know why I said Canada. And I have relatives there. I was gonna go visit my sister, spend a night at her house, and
That's a
then
great
get up
idea.
early in the morning and drive to St. Louis. And then I was going to pick up a couple of people in St. Louis who you may have, if you ever watch the nonprofits, which nobody does, and but they're two of the hosts from the nonprofits. So is AJ, and great show too. People should watch that show. But I'm going to pick them up in St. Louis, and then they're going to drive the rest of the way to Austin.
I'll have to try and catch the nonprofit.
Yeah, I try and pop in every now and again. I do go for more live, so when it's recorded, it kind of takes me a while to go for it,
Yeah,
to get around
yeah.
to it. But
That's
whenever there's anything live, I go
only
for it.
20 minutes, you know.
That's
Oh,
as
We
long
used
as
to do a
speaking.
whole we used to do it like in an hour-and-a-half format, but now we just do 20 minutes at a time.
Hmm.
hang on. So like you just record a 20-minute, you just do 20-minute sessions. What do you mean
Yeah,
20 minutes
yeah.
at a time? Like 20-minute
They
session, take a
cover
break and then come back?
well, they cover selected news stories that are current, and
Yeah.
they'll pick 3 stories each week and cover them for about 20 minutes with a panel of 3 people.
And like it's what kind of stories are there? What's hot in the press at the moment, or it's
Yeah,
just whatever?
yeah.
Right.
A lot of times, religion, things that might have to do with religious freedom or repression.
Yep. Oh. And that guy, what's his name? Mehmet is really great to follow. I love his coverage. Yeah, things that are going on atheism-wise. Yeah, question of church and state and so forth.
Speaking of live shows, Godless Granny invited me to be on her show tomorrow, so I'm gonna be on there. It
Really?
should be live. Yeah, I
Wow,
met
What
her this
time?
weekend too. She's so sweet.
yeah, she's
3:30 Central.
Awesome.
AJ, I missed that. Who on whose show?
Oh, Godless Granny, Kelly. You
Oh,
you met
cool,
her.
cool,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I know Kelly. Dude, didn't
yeah,
you
yeah.
see the picture of the 3 Kellys?
I did. Yeah, I did. And I also met that other Kelly. I met both the Kellys and you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
So.
other Kelly from Detroit is going to be on the back cruise too.
Oh, awesome! So I get to see her again. I didn't get to hang out too much with her because she was on the tables and I was like running around everywhere. So, but yeah, and Cynthia, I got to meet Cynthia too.
I see Monkeytron in the audience. Thanks for joining us. Oh, yeah, you
I'm
can come on up.
Let's see if I could find the 3 Kellys. Picture.
Oh, I did invite
You
you.
must have pressed
Did
the
it
wrong
not work?
button.
Right, now I figured it out. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, I just was listening.
Hi, Monkey
There
Trump.
it is.
I've never used this kind of system where it's like this. But okay.
Oh, hang on. You mean
Ignore
like
me
there's
anyway.
another-
That was much more interesting than anything I've got to say. Carry on, please.
There's the 3 Kellys.
You're doing what? That sounded really cool. You're going on some kind of show or something. Anyway.
Yeah. It was Truth One. Oh, hang on. We were talking about the non-profits, but we just Kelly finished up with the Truth Wanted show. That's on YouTube if you want to check it out. Oh, and you get to hear me? No, I wasn't in the show. I'm going to call back.
I'm going to be doing Talk Heathen and AXP this weekend too. Just backup post though, like I did tonight.
Oh wow! I love Talk Heathen.
I'll get to be on the show for a couple of minutes on each show. It's kind of fun.
You get to pop in.
What did you do?
Say, hi, I was here the
Yeah.
whole time. Surprise.
Yeah.
You're at the edges of each. That's cool.
I was going crazy tonight because it was like, man, I always want the calls that I'm good at, and I got 2 of them tonight, and I wasn't the host, and I was like, fuck, I want to talk to these guys.
Say something next time. We should have got you on. That would have been great.
I like your attitude. Sorry.
One guy was saying that there was a nuclear war on Mars.
But that can't have been real.
No, it is real. There's a guy, Brandenburg, and he's actually a real freaking scientist, has a PhD, and has actually written real science stuff. But around 2012, something in him snapped, and he kind of went off the deep end. And he got this theory that there was this nuclear war on Mars.
Oh my God! In a crazy
direction. Pushing it ever since, man. So
that's just so. I
need to know more about that guy. What?
And unfortunately, the 2 hosts, Dan and Dr. Blitzen, I had never heard of them, and I had, so and I knew
wow.
I had a whole bunch of evidence against his theory that I could.
It should be like someone like you, Kelly. You should just be able to tap in. You should just.
You know what? Dan said that.
I know.
Dan said next time say tap in, and I did say I did say in the chat where just us we can see it. I did say, wow, you know what? We need a geologist right now. So I thought that might.
Yeah.
I wonder where we could get one of those. Yeah, you know what we do? Come on up.
Kelly, next time you need to say, "Put me in, coach. Put me in."
That's what Dan said. Yeah, Dan said that after the show. So just tap in next time.
So good.
And then then another guy brought up orgone energy and Wilhelm Reich, and I fucking. I talk a lot about against Wu, and he's like the great grandfather of Wu, man. That guy. So I know all about him too. I could probably write a book about Wilhelm Reich, honestly, for what I know about him. Everybody went silent. What do you all expecting me to say?
I'm trying really hard not to think of it. But
he was
a little
massive womb.
He was a student of Sigmund Freud.
He's the grandfather of the giantest womb ever. I mean, sorry.
No, it's cool. He was a student of Freud, Sigmund Freud. And he got
but we don't agree with him, do we? He's mental. He's like obviously that guy.
He got this idea that there was like this life force that surrounded everything. It, sort of like the Force from Star Wars, And then he created a machine that could gather this orgone energy.
dare draw me in by saying it's the Force, because it will work. I love
Well, it's the way he described the way it worked. And, it sounds very Force-like, and which is kind of Tao-like too, right?
that's what a Sith would say,
Well,
maybe.
it is based, yeah, like the whole Force thing was based off of like, the Tao Te Ching, like the whole, like the
Well,
way.
it was based on like secular Taoism, American
Well,
secular Taoism.
yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
since he couldn't really
The
access,
Tao of Pooh stuff,
yeah, he
not the
he
real,
he
not
got
the
what
real
was
Taoism.
popular in
Yeah,
the US, since all you could do back then was go to libraries.
Worship is popular in the US, but it's popular in most of the world, isn't it? People seem to
but
just want to worship somebody nowadays.
he started
Right.
creating these machines to accumulate this orgone energy, as he called it, and he sent one to Albert Einstein actually to test, right? And Einstein sent it back saying he
Don't
tested it. And
worship him. He was wrong about
he didn't see
something.
that it did anything. Please don't overtalk me. He didn't see
Sorry,
that it
mate.
did
Sorry, Al.
anything. And so, if Einstein said his machine didn't do anything, I'm kind of prone to agree with Einstein on that one. But he kept selling them through the mail, and he was making claims with them like they would cure all these things, including cancer. And eventually, the post office
Well,
came after him and pressed charges against him for mail fraud because he was sending them through the mail,
who was
and he
that?
ended up
Oh,
going to jail.
Yeah,
Fraud.
because it was bullshit. Who was it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
He was actually court ordered to stop selling them, and then he continued to, and that's when they threw him in jail.
Oh,
well,
sorry,
I guess
I'm
he
just being
believed it.
stupid. Who? Sorry.
It was I'm assuming it's the same guy. You said that Brandon? No, right? What
Uh,
was the name?
I was saying he was the granddad of Wu.
Oh, I thought you said the name. My bad.
His
Yeah,
name was
that's
Wilhelm.
definitely a different person, isn't it?
His name was
Sorry.
Wilhelm Reich.
Right.
He was actually accused of being a Nazi spy at the beginning of World War II.
James Randi, the opposite. Because he,
Yeah,
he
right.
said
James
we're
Randi
alive.
would be his
Didn't he?
opposite.
Is he the opposite?
He totally would be his opposite. Yeah. Oh, I loved Randy.
I
Honestly,
emailed it. I emailed him once, right? And he was really angry
oh,
with me. And I don't like him
really?
as much. Yeah, he was right annoying. I mean, fair enough. All caps. Yeah,
Well,
no,
too,
he's cool, isn't he? I was probably just asked a stupid question, probably.
Penn and Teller really made a big impact on me back in the 90s with their show Bullshit.
They're good, aren't they? Yeah, no, I
Oh,
like them.
mhm.
Even still, I found out they're libertarians, or at
Yeah,
least peddlers.
right. There was a
Can't
little
be
bit of
sure
too much
about the silent one,
libertarianism
can you?
in it, but yeah.
Which I don't fully agree with, but I like some of those policies.
Yeah, a lot
And
of,
I like
I
his
didn't agree with some of the
logic.
episodes.
I
Definitely.
like that series, Penn and Teller, something bullshit or something. That was quite good.
Yep.
Even though I
Yeah,
don't
that's what
agree with
Kelly
them.
mentioned. Mhm.
I remember being enraged when I saw the recycling episode, And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
20 years later, they were fucking spot on. They were totally correct, man.
Oh,
All
yeah.
this recycling, it's bullshit. They're just telling you
Really?
that. They ain't
No, isn't it?
recycling any of this stuff. Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame.
I'm like, no way, they're doing that. They got to be doing it. Why else are we
I still
collecting
try
this
and
shit?
recycle, but when I see someone put like a bag in there, it's like, no, the whole
That's not what I'm
bin's
talking about. The
not
people
getting
who pick it
recycled
up.
now.
Oh,
Fuck,
Yeah.
hold on,
waste of
one
time.
at a time. Uh,
Sorry.
Monkey, if you can, try to do one at a time. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right. I understand. We get excited.
It was just the people that were collecting the recycling weren't recycling it. They were just throwing it into the landfills instead,
They had to, because they looked in the bin and there was like another bag in there, and it's like, that's the rules. If it's just tin cans, then yeah, you recycle those tin cans. But if someone puts like a bottled cap in there, that goes in the other fucking just general landfill. area. So it's annoying when I take the time to take the tops off bloody bottles before I put them in the bin, and then someone just it's a waste of time.
I didn't get the meat patty yet, AJ. They asked me to be on their show.
Yeah, they're good. They're a
Right.
good duo.
I think you should do it.
Yeah,
I will.
do it.
Yeah.
I was
They're
just
so
on.
much fun.
I just forgot that I had muted myself, so I've been trying to join in the conversation for the past 2
Oh,
minutes. And...
poor Stephen.
Hey man, we've all done
why
that.
are people getting my great comments?
I'm so sorry,
you go.
Stephen.
I've done that more times than I'd like
I
to.
did that to myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Why can't anyone understand me? Oh fuck! How many different channels have we been to speaking when no one could hear me?
So funny.
That's the worst.
Yeah, usually I tend to keep an eye out for someone if they've been muted for a while and they're still up on
That's nice.
stage. I
I
tend
like your
to ask
attitude.
them. So that's my bad. I fell down on the job.
No, that's good because you're like an angel. At least you're trying. It's nice. I'd love someone to tell me, "Hey, no one can hear what you're saying." It's excellent. I love you. You're the best.
Well, I just try to pitch in here and there. So I do have a question for the panel, the illustrious panel tonight. My question is, as we are getting ready for school to get back in, we are seeing quite a few changes taking place, particularly in the United States, but it is happening, you know, globally at different rates. Where we're seeing less secular education and more disregard for a separation of church and state in public education.
Wow.
Well,
Did anyone want to comment on that?
yeah, well, very quickly, in the UK, we still have, we don't have that separation. And education is, religious education is RE, it's called, class. I'm sure it's called something else now, but whatever, we've still got it. So,
Hang on,
and I
wouldn't
think that's
you
a good
still...
thing, because nobody in this country believes in it. Because it's obvious, we were taught it and we went, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the UK attitude to religion. It's of course this is bollocks.
That might
Yeah,
not
just have
happen
fun
in
with
all
it.
of the countries. Correct. Yeah, that's true, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, so I have a follow-up question for you on that, Monkey. For this religious education, is it like a comparative religions or is it one specific religion?
No, exactly. It's not like you'd imagine America would do, where it was just some kind of pseudo-Catholic fucking whatever. It's like, it was like we learned about Muslims, we learned about the Jewish faith, we learned about. I was allowed to go with a camera to a church once with a couple of friends to make a video. I wish I still had that video because it would have been.
Well, yeah. Well,
But
then that
yeah,
would just be a standard
that was what
comparative
that lesson
religions
was.
course.
They
Yeah,
did
so
make
that
you read out from the Bible. They did. We went around the class and I had to read out from the Bible. Something
sure.
of Joshua or some shit. That did happen and I didn't like it. But yeah. So I hope that answers that.
Thanks. Yeah, we do. So it depends on the school, but some schools offer comparative religions as like oh goodness, words escaping me. I haven't been in high
Not
school
an
in years.
option, like an option or something like a.
Yeah, it's not an. I keep wanting to say extracurricular. It's not an extracurricular. It's like a
Like Bird Club, like
subcredit.
Bird Club or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you get a credit for it.
You can get a credit for it. Yes. If it's a course, you can get a credit for it.
Efficiently.
Clubs, yeah, if it's comparative religion, you can get a credit for it. If it's like one specific religion, I mean, until
Well,
now, who
that's
knows?
suspicious now, is
That
it?
that
Immediately makes me think
shouldn't
racist straight away.
uh that it shouldn't be in a
Exactly.
public school. That is allowed in private schools.
Yeah, but I mean, hang on a minute. I can't believe that in American schools, when you grow up, I'm not saying everyone here is American, that's almost certainly not the case, but they must like teach you about various religions and stuff at some point. They must do you not?
It's more tied in world history, but not a focus.
History. All right, okay. Because, yeah, I'm not saying it's going to come up in maths, very unlikely. But, you know, like, yeah, in history and geography and stuff would come into play. Okay.
My class was actually the last, my graduating year was the last to have a geography course. They cut geography from the curriculum after.
Really? Well, I hated geography as a young boy.
Yeah.
I believe I told the geography teacher, to fuck off once.
Oh dear.
And I left the room. That's really bad, eh?
Yeah. How'd that
I
how'd
didn't
that
care
play
about
out?
geography that much.
Sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
Sorry.
Just was asking Monkeytron, how did that play out when you told the teacher?
He was weak. He turned out to be incredibly weak, and I just walked out. It was
Oh,
fine.
now I'm feeling sad for
I felt
him.
bad about it when I had to go in his class later, because it's like, well, I've undermined you, haven't I? I don't want to do it again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, he was. I don't know what it was. The geography, the way I was taught it, was rubbish. They should definitely have started with, here's where all the places are on the planet, all the countries, right? Because no one knows that. Do you know that? My friends' kids know where places
Actually,
are on the planet
there's
way better than me.
some little kind of quizzes about it, like on
Yes,
what am I
online.
trying to say? I always have trouble saying this one, TikTok. So I took to doing those, and now I have a reasonable idea where a bunch of the countries are.
Yeah, good. That's good. I like that. Yeah, and that game it was a kind of Google Earth game where you have to work out where you're from.
Yeah,
And lots of
right.
people got
Yeah,
together online and was trying to work it out. That's good as well.
yeah.
But then I was absolutely destroyed by my friend's little girl who she must have been 8 or something. She wanted to do this as well. Her mum was like going, come over. All right, then come over then. And her mum looks at me like, you're going to get, this girl's got a planet. And she beat me so badly. She knew where everything was. It was amazing. I thought, good.
The thing I feel I need to do is to learn the geography of the United States a bit better, because
Well,
it's
yeah, that's a
it was
start, innit?
only recently that I realized that Washington
Do you know where
State is
Maine
on
is?
the other side of
I
the
don't.
world to where Washington DC is, and not
Oh,
world, the other
right.
side of the country. I mean,
Yeah, sometimes you
Yep.
get it like the completely opposite way around, don't you? I thought
yeah.
Liverpool was the opposite side of the country for so long. Totally.
That's hard though, to study your own country. Like I have no interest in studying Australia. It just bores me to tears. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Americans though,
other places are more exciting.
I took.
don't they? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. I'll admit I took one look at a regional map of Australia, and I never looked
Yeah.
at it again. And
Sounds good.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you anything
Original,
about
did you
Australia.
say?
Is
Yeah,
that the
look at
one
that.
which has the
Get a
map
picture of it
of?
and post it. Sorry.
Is that the one that has the map of the Aboriginal cultures?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, that is wow. That's
I'd love
full
to see
on.
that.
Yeah.
Like, because
Oh
I
yeah, it
go,
should be
oh, look how
accessible.
racist they are, the bastards.
No,
Talk
no,
about
it's not that.
gerrymandering.
No, it's more like about it's just the same as there's countries in Europe. There were countries in Australia.
Hey, well, I'm not having a go at anyone for genocide. We've all done it. It turns out.
Oh gosh.
If you believe you're responsible for your ancestors' business, then yeah, we've all done a genocide. Well, I haven't, because I don't believe I'm responsible for my ancestors' shit. So
I
long as you
don't
don't
think
take any of the
anybody.
credit. Sorry.
I think
I
where
don't
it's
think I'm
problematic is where people try to completely disclaim all
Yeah, that's wrong.
responsibility for those repercussions.
Yeah.
And just say, oh, somebody else did it. I get to live the benefit of what they did, and you get to live the awful dispossession of what happened.
Yeah, you're right. But
I don't think I'm responsible.
I would always say why.
I don't think I'm responsible for my ancestors, but I'm gonna damn
no.
sure do my best to make the world a better place than they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what we need to hear, isn't it? All that what you just said, 100%.
I have a really shitty ancestor. I have the shittiest ancestor, guys. Like a
Oh,
close
go on.
ancestor too.
Excellent. Was it Attila the Hun?
Like my father's
all of our
uncle.
ancestors.
I'm talking about my father's uncle.
Okay,
He has his
this is
own
gonna be
wiki
dark,
page.
isn't it?
And I'll go get it and post it in the chat.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a sad story.
Can I have
Oh,
some time
no.
to prepare for this?
I'm not this.
Sounds like
It's fucked
gonna
up,
be
man.
hard mentally, isn't it?
And it's like again, like I don't feel responsible for him, you know, because
It's
I
not
had
your
nothing
fault.
to do with it. But I
Of course not.
damn sure want to like even out the karma, you know, in the world
No,
karma.
it's not yours.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't even have to.
No, I don't have to. But I want to make the world a better
Might as
place.
well do it
That's why I
anyway.
do.
That's nothing.
Well, look, dude,
I
let me
have to do it.
talk, man. I don't have to, but I want to make the
Sorry.
world a better place, which is why I do
Yeah.
what I do. No matter
Yeah.
what my ancestors did, I would still be doing what I do to make the world a better place, right?
Yeah. I was just making
But
sure.
there's my
you know,
great uncle, my father's
you didn't
uncle.
feel the need because you didn't do nothing wrong. That's all.
That's my my ancestor.
Have you
Where is
He even
have
got a
you
medal for mustache.
Sorry.
I'm beginning to wonder, Kelly, have you bookmarked all these ancestors that have given
How many ancestors have you got? Right, because come on, can we rate them?
He's the only one that I
You've
know
got
of
like
that
at
was,
least
really
10.
bad.
That'd be 8. 5 would be easier, wouldn't it? Sorry. I don't know who any of my ancestors are. If I did, I'd tell you. You could rate them.
Yeah, he even got a medal from Hitler for his eugenicism.
Right, brilliant. He's definitely one that needs to be listed.
Yeah.
Who's voting for him? Not me.
That's so upsetting for you, Kelly. I'm sure. I mean, I've kind of not wanted to look at my family
It's nothing to do with you, though.
history.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
You can't say
it
it's
doesn't
nothing to
matter.
do with him. It's gonna,
Yeah, who
it's gonna
knows?
have an
My
effect, right?
granddad's ate a baby. Perhaps. I don't know. It's not my fault, is it?
You know how there was like in the
Same.
early part of the 20th century, and they had like compulsory sterilization in some places for people with mental illness, and sometimes it was just you were a minority, compulsory sterilization, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was that was my great uncle that started that shit.
Shit, that's annoying. But you're nothing to do with that. But I know what you mean.
I don't think that's the point. I think the point is that you acknowledge that the history is there and that you
hate it, and someone
you want to be a better example. You want to put out more good in the world.
Yeah, I want to be and it has nothing to do with him being my great uncle. I just, like I say, and AJ has probably heard me say it a million times. I don't care about if you're good or bad. I just want you to be better every day.
It doesn't matter if it's logical.
And I love that.
It still matters, doesn't it?
I think that's honestly been the biggest reason why I've promoted secular humanism, was to, continue the promotion of
But some
wanting
people
Yeah.
to
just want to
continue
party at the end
to
of everything. Sorry.
well, you want to continue to leave the world in a better state than when you found it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
And my
don't
first
forget to
question,
enjoy it.
sure,
When you're standing on
uh,
a big hill looking at some ice. Maybe there's an ocean. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Don't forget to
uh,
enjoy being alive. It's good, isn't it?
um,
Yeah,
oh,
and having compassion for people, something that I've recently been have been forced to learn. Like
mm,
usually my first reaction to somebody doing something hurtful will be like, let's burn it down. But
Yeah.
I've read specifically the book Humanism from the Heart. I recently read it. The author was going to be on my show and gave me a copy to read it before the show, and it was pretty powerful for me. And after that, I was dealing with different situations where, well, like I said, my first reaction before would have been to burn everything down, but including myself, right? And so showing people, like giving them a lot more compassion and using rational thinking and being like, hey, these are the facts. Just put them separate from our initial emotions as humans.
Yeah, but we
That's
do all have
definitely.
emotion.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
can control them.
Well, you can and you
oh,
can't. Some of them
No,
are.
you can. Believe
We've
me,
got.
you can control them.
Well, okay, maybe you've got some systems. Cool. But yeah, they're hard to, aren't they? Yeah,
well,
that's
that's
all.
what I was talking about earlier about learning the tool set to understand when those emotions are coming up and being prepared for them, finding a way to prevent them from escalating, and then
Yeah,
eventually, if you can get to that point, use them. Have them be, you know,
Yeah.
a
Oh, very good
a
point. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
a
I suffered.
a
Go
productive
ahead. I'm sorry.
part of
Yeah.
of think about your goals, of course, first. And if those emotions, after you prevented them from escalating, can be used in a productive way towards your goals, then I'd say, figure out how you can use them.
I was going to say, I struggled with PTSD my whole life, so I really understand strong emotions and having to be able to control them. And you
Yeah,
can
it's
do it. You
hard.
can learn to do it, man.
You can? Okay, you
I
must have
I
systems for
have.
that. Though.
I mean, and I've been able to control PTSD, which is a
Yeah,
very
I
strong
imagine.
emotional thing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
But it wasn't easy. It took me years, and if I can, and honestly, if I can control that, I can control just about anything.
Sure.
I might lose it for 5 seconds, but I bring it right back,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I sympathize. That was the type of experience. Is uh, you know, obviously no PTSD diagnosis is the same. Um, but yeah, having to deal with the intense, like the major issue with PTSD is reliving the event and
Oh, God. You don't want to do that,
having
do you?
to
Well, I suppose
experience it
you would.
again.
I can't read or see other people in the same position, read about or see people in the same position. That really gets me still.
Mm,
Same
I
Yeah,
position
like
as you, Summer?
yeah, like seeing someone suffering the same type of thing that you did. Is that what
Yes,
you're
right,
saying?
right. That's
Yeah,
I think there's a certain story I won't do on
I do.
nonprofits, right?
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
Well,
Like
it would be helpful. It would be helpful if you told it, but you don't have to, of course.
I tried a couple of times, and I mean, if you want to go look at some old nonprofits episodes, you got to read through them, but you'll see me lose it, where I just fucking totally
Mm.
lose it, start bawling,
Okay.
and then I asked them
Mm.
to do that
It's-
topic
No,
in
it's
the
too much
show, and
for yourself
everybody
like that.
respected it. So
sorry,
Yeah,
Stephen,
I
did you want to
totally
say
agree.
something?
it's cool, man. You learn to deal with it,
Yeah.
man. And it's now it's just like I have a hard time seeing because it started because of something that happened to me as a child when I was helpless. And when I see or hear about other kids in a position like that, it fucking just tears me up and it brings me back there, and it makes
Yeah,
me feel more for
yeah.
them than for what I would
We should
feel.
use it
Yeah.
to fucking help them, help those little kids. Not
No, but look,
if you can't say it's all right, don't worry about it.
no, I want
I know
to
you
push
can't
back
do
on
that, but
that.
something like that later on. So I don't know.
No, I really support the right of everybody to make their own choices about whether they will or won't disclose or discuss something, especially obviously if it's not something that they're in a good place to discuss openly in
I
an
was
open
I was
forum.
physically abused, not sexually, just physically, but
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah. No, I mean, look, yeah, I would never, I would never. I mean, people can say you should, but I would never
Hang on, would you
discuss
ever
something that I
though?
wasn't comfortable discussing. Huh?
Sorry, there's an American
I
game
get
for
it.
would
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
ever, isn't there? So when you said that, I just went, would you ever go? Oh, though.
I mean, for me, it comes
Sorry,
down to
I
boundaries,
was
and I'm
being silly. Sorry.
yeah, no, yeah. No, for me, it comes down to boundaries, and nobody has the right to say to somebody, "You've got to do it. You've got or really
Yeah.
even you should do it." I mean, you can encourage. You can say that could be helpful, but I would always be
You
there to say.
discourage? I
I
think you
mean,
can.
no, I would always be there to say, look, don't do this if you don't feel in a good space to do it, because that can that can really set
Yeah, you're
somebody
right.
back
Right.
if they get in there and they talk about something that they're really not ready to talk about
Yeah.
in an open forum, or yeah.
It's like
I think
because
that we need to protect
like the
people's.
angel in your ear and the devil in your ear on the two different shoulders. You need
I
both,
was
Yeah,
I was
don't you?
drinking
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
doing a lot of drugs.
yeah.
Lived
Wow.
homeless. I still do a lot of drugs. I just don't. But then I use
Well,
them to
yeah.
run away.
You sound
Then
like
I
a
use them to run
drugs.
away. Now I'm using them a little more therapeutically.
Yeah,
Oh,
that sounds right.
I take a lot of drugs. Yeah, different.
Mm,
So it's not the drugs
mm,
really, but be
mm.
careful. They will make you excitable. That's for sure.
I got pretty much control over them. I can be like really normal on drugs. Ask AJ. I can
Yeah,
win trivia
yeah,
contests on hallucinogenics, man.
facts.
Mm.
Oh, and we have Miss Non Sequitur with us. Good to see you.
Hi, miss.
Hey,
Non
Miss.
Hey,
sequitur facts. Awesome. Sorry, that
Oh
sounds
my
like
goodness, I have been, uh, I wanted to come say hi. I've been so sick.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
have had, no, on Wednesday, I got the worst migraine I've had in about 2 years.
uh,
It lasted
Mm.
36 hours. I'm still suffering the effects. And so I have been completely MIA. I stood up
uh,
for my poor wifey and,
Aw.
yeah,
No,
just,
it's all right.
anyway,
um,
I am on the mend. I am feeling better just in time for the weekend, of course.
Cool. That's good.
That's what it matters.
yeah.
I gotta. Oh
I
shit!
would
I gotta get
say
up early.
I'm too old for the weekend to matter at this point, but
Sorry, Kelly,
I have
what
to
did
get
you
up.
say?
I was just thinking to myself, I have to get up early and drive to get. I got my prescription insurance is fucked up. I have to drive like 40 minutes one way to get my prescriptions filled. But I also live in the
um,
middle of fucking nowhere, so.
Oh boy.
that doesn't help. Yeah.
But I have to get up early
uh,
because I got to be back in time. I got to actually. I'm going to be opening the store like 40 minutes late. I'm going to drive out, get there at the drugstore at 9 when they open, and then drive back here because I should have been open. Have my store open at 9. So I'll be open. Hopefully, I'll be open before 10.
um,
So are you heading out? I think I need to head out too.
I'm gonna stick around for a little bit, but I was just like I said, I was just talking to myself. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I have to get up an
Oh.
hour early tomorrow. And then I may drive out another hour and a half in the evening to go to a rock meeting, auction, lecture.
So you can rock
mm.
out.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out, man.
Thank you for having me, Vic. I'm gonna head out and do the things.
I'm glad I caught you
Yeah.
before you left. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much
joining.
for joining our Friday night fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
thanks,
really,
AJ.
really fun. I'll definitely be coming back. Hopefully, like next Friday and stuff.
Yes,
There
please.
you go. We're here every
Absolutely. Yep.
Friday.
Yep. And we also
Yeah,
do
we're
something
here every
similar
Friday.
on Mondays at 9 p.m.
Yes,
Central. So,
yep.
Oh, okay.
we'll,
Perfect.
yep,
We
same place.
have Vic Game and Gab on Mondays, and then Vic also does her
Oh, D&D, is that what you
I'm
mean?
sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. Like D&D just escaped my mind. Yes, her
No worries.
D&D broadcast on Thursdays too. If you enjoy listening to a good D&D game.
God, cool.
Don't worry,
I
I'm not
paint,
good at the game either. So
I paint miniatures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I want to
so
get back into that.
unfortunately, we, since it's all virtual, can't do the miniatures in person, but we do little virtual, we use a little virtual
Well, that's cool.
tabletop and all that.
I don't have a lot of people I can play with around here, so every once in a while I get my son and maybe a couple of his friends will get together and play on a tabletop, but it's hard.
It is.
It's hard to
You're
get.
not quite chopped liver, but Vic
Yes.
is my wifey. I mean, I'm sorry, but
Aw.
she gets first billing.
Yes, so Andrew
Okay.
is our game master. So he co-hosts
Oh,
with me
wow.
on
Sorry
Thursdays
about
at
that.
8:30 p.m.
Oh, I should have
So
said
cool.
that too.
We got a
Oh,
couple
very
of
I
windows.
love it. I love it, Kelly. That's so fucking cool.
I was about to
So
say we got
cool.
a couple of windows in the back of the store that I dressed up for the fuck of it. It's not like at the store, it's in the back room, So I just put
I'm just like I'm just so happy looking at that picture. I want to do it.
There's Hercules fighting the Hydra with his shield bearer.
Really?
Yeah, look at in the swamp.
Let me zoom in on this.
And I got
Jesus,
a dragon. I think I
so
got a party fighting a dragon too, if I can find it.
Oh man.
Oh, that is
Up
a
north.
nice little setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
That's so
I'm way
cool.
cooler than you thought I was now, huh?
No. It
Now, you already
already
impressed me
We
with the
made
already
dragon.
thought you
how
were
cool
cool,
you
but
were.
this is like wow.
Now, this is
You're
pittance compared
already
to the red
you
dragon.
are on my list of eligible bachelors for,
Yeah.
my child in the future. I mean, just
uh,
You
I've
gotta
been
hurry up.
good.
Look at that picture. Nancy thinks I'm adorable.
That's nice.
there you go. See, Nancy's gonna grab you up before I can snatch you up for my child in the future.
There you go. There you
Nancy's
go.
married.
I've been
Her husband's
I've been
really funny
watching too
guy
much
too.
Mad Men. I'm sorry. I've been rewatching Mad Men, and my brain is lost in the '60s.
I should
Sorry,
watch that.
I've been starting to. Oh,
Yeah.
wrong button.
It's a French movie I'm going to watch then. It's a gay movie.
No,
I'm
actually,
really
I've been watching
excited
both
about it.
Mad Men and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So I've been
Oh,
getting
Oh,
so much
yeah, I haven't
inside.
watched that in a while.
who's in
Yeah,
that? Who's in Mrs.
I've been
Maisel? I know I've
recently
seen it.
rewatching shows, and I'm rewatching both of those kind of simultaneously because I'm on a '60s costuming kick.
Right. That's
Us.
that's what drew me to The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, was because I saw people in the historical costuming community talking about the prep for that show and like all of the like
Oh, the
historical details that we're
costuming
going
is
into.
amazing. Well,
Yeah,
the
and
main character, kind of part of her thing is that she loves clothes. So she basically never wears the same thing twice. And all of it, I mean, as far as I can tell, and I'm not like an expert, but as far as I can tell, all of it is authentic.
they did try to go as at least when it comes to styling her, they went with as historically accurate as possible based off of what, what they had. Obviously like the the late 50s, early 60s, we do have a lot of documentation for compared to other historical costuming
Right.
periods.
Yeah, makes it easier.
And in fact, a lot of people, you can just buy the pattern, like the old original pattern that they used to sell.
They reissue those patterns frequently.
Yes.
I actually have a collection. I'm a pattern collector. I don't make
Oh,
because I find sewing quite tedious. I know how to do it, but it drives me nuts. But I imagine sewing things all the time. So I'll buy patterns and then I just have a collection of patterns.
I love that. It reminds me of me with all my video games, where I've got a collection of video games that I still need to play. That's especially the case with console games, because I'm always at my computer, but I very rarely set up my console. And that's just a health thing. That's just me. Because
I deal with books too. I buy a lot of books, and eventually I read many of them.
Oh, we have Arya with us. Come on up. Hey, Arya.
Are you another one?
Hi, everybody.
Are you another one, Miss? Hi, Arya. Sorry, I'm trying to talk over people. Are you another one, Miss?
Maybe I should have joined earlier. I was still feeling fairly under the weather, but people are cheering me up.
Yeah. So good.
Sorry, Stephen, you were trying to ask a non sequitur question?
Sorry, I keep on talking at the same time as other people. I'm so sorry. Is Julia? Am I getting it right? Miss non sequitur.
Somebody was trying to ask me a question.
Yeah. Are you another person who really likes the hard copy for reading the book? Like a paper and ink? Am I coming through? Maybe I should put my other.
I can hear you. I'm not hearing Miss non sequitur then.
No, she's gone quiet.
That is so weird. I mean, I'm here. I don't hear Stephen. To me, Stephen is muted. But I somehow mute.
Somebody has the Discord gremlin.
Stephen?
Maybe what I'll do, I'll try going out and coming back in.
Somehow I personally muted Stephen. I'm not sure how I did that.
I won't take it personally.
No, that was absolutely. I have no idea how that happened. I'm so sorry.
I can totally relate. I am completely technophobe now. I mean, no, not completely. I can usually puzzle my way through, but I'm constantly screwing up.
That's me. I can manage most, like, entry level type stuff. I can usually manage eventually with many, many screw ups.
Anyway, my
I'm
question
so
for
sorry.
you. My question for you was, this is no, I can't ask it now because it feels beside the point. No, I'll ask it anyway. Do you like to have the hard copy, the paper and ink books, Mrs. Monsec? Is it Julia? What do you like to be called?
I'm Ms. Non Sequitur, or I'm Erin.
Erin, oh, okay. I think I've heard that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't
you're
mind when people call me Erin, or I'm Ms. Non Sequitur. I'm not too picky. Hey, you bitch. Whatever.
I always like to get a nice short version. I could just call you Miss. Like I'd be like I'm back in school.
Yeah, Miss. But it's not Miss. That is one thing. It's not Miss.
I know, but in school we never differentiated. We always just said Miss, even though it was MS. Anyway, no, I don't have to be like that now. I'm evolved. I can say Ms.
Yeah, MZ is. I mean, honestly, I should spell it MZ, but the fact that that's not the way it's actually spelled when you say Ms. bugs me, and it shouldn't, but I had an English teacher who was born in 1945 for a month. It just bugs me.
Really, that's not good.
I know,
I
I
mean,
can't explain it. It's just one
it's
of
just
those weird
crappy.
hang-ups.
It's crappy that our patriarchy set up in English set up these titles this way in this gendered way and in this patriarchal
Right,
way.
right, and and part of me is like, I'm keying into that gendered bullshit by insisting so much on the non-gendered version
Mm,
of it,
mm,
but
yeah.
it's it's just what feels right to me. Like, okay, so I was married twice. I was married the first time
Mm,
when I was 21. This is leading somewhere,
wow.
by the way, so don't worry. I was married the first time when I was 21, and my name changed to, we'll call it H. And I kept that name after I divorced 10 years later. So, I divorced at about 31. And then I married again at 38, and I hyphenated MH. So I was Aaron
Mm,
MH. And then when I divorced him 5 years later, because I'm really, really, really good at picking men, just super duper duper good. Um,
mm,
I decided to go all the way back to my maiden name, which at that point I'd had for less time than I'd had either one, like, both of my married names together. And
mm,
I felt more at home when I started spelling my maiden name, my first name, when I started using my old signature again.
wow.
It felt more natural than
Yeah.
either of my married names ever have.
That's
Wow.
excellent.
Good on you.
Yeah,
I'm
weird,
glad for you.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
It felt
Well,
like
no, not
coming
weird.
home.
I think that's it just seems suitable. It seems fitting. It seems right. Like, what the hell with our culture that we had all this bullshit just built into it.
Right. Why did I ever change my name in the first place? I mean, I don't regret being married to my first husband, and
Mm,
there's
mm,
very complicated feelings about my second marriage. But
mm,
I do regret ever changing my name. I shouldn't have.
yeah,
I didn't want to in the first place. So,
mm, mm,
I was just sort of talked into it. Not by my husband,
mm.
by the way, by my parents,
Yeah,
because they'd say, nobody's going to understand that you're married if you don't take your husband's name. I was young
that
enough to be like,
was,
no, I want people to know I'm married. Like that bad.
yeah, most of my mother's regrets from her first marriage were from her in-laws. Like her in-laws talking her into things, like
Wow.
especially getting back with
Yeah.
her husband, you know, when they
So
were,
much. Yeah.
you know,
So much
already
garbage.
separated.
Goes on.
So it's,
Mm,
To be
it's
fair, my first marriage was not a mistake. We had an amazing child out of it. He was my best friend
mm,
for a good
wow.
8 years, until
Mm,
we realized that being best friends didn't necessarily make a good marriage, you know.
yeah,
mm.
yeah.
How
And he's a great guy.
I'm really so relationship challenged. I've never had a relationship go longer than 3 months. So how was it problematic, the friendship thing? Because I always, when I was a child, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, that's the way to be. Just be friends, and yeah, I thought that would be
You
the
just
ideal. But
you
what
just
was
had fun
problematic about it?
together.
You just
Well,
had, that sounds great. That sounds great. Isn't that
yeah,
what you want?
no, it was great, but we didn't work well together.
Oh, but did you have
We
to?
were
I
able to
mean, hang
have,
on. You're
yes,
talking about,
because
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
when we were married, you know, we could play together. We could go out, we could have fun, we could make each other laugh. endlessly. But
Okay.
paying bills
Oh, so you
and
were too cut
keeping
for that
things
horse.
on track in real life,
Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
we neither, both of us are severely ADHD, for one thing.
Yeah, somebody needed to be the adult.
Exactly. And neither of us were very good at that. So I ended up taking on the role because I was raised to be the fixer, even though I'm really bad at fixing.
Can
And
relate.
then I felt just inadequate at it. And
Mm.
so I just got bossy trying to get him to fulfill the things that I couldn't fulfill because I'm like, oh, I need to make
Yeah,
sure this fits and I can't do it. So I need to make him do it. So I just got mean about it. No, I
that's
am not, I am absolutely not saying that I didn't have a lot to do with the fact that our
mm.
relationship did not survive. I totally did. We just
Yeah, like
we,
I
we
feel like
we were really good friends. We just weren't good at being married.
It
I feel
sounds
like
to me
that.
like maybe uh it would have benefited you both to have learned how you did living together before getting married, because
Oh,
I
see,
definitely
that's
did.
the thing. We lived together
But you
for
were
a year
Mormons.
before we got married.
Oh,
Oh
really?
no,
So
I
Mm.
it
was.
didn't help.
No. No. That I moved in with him about 3 months after I finished my Mormon experiment.
Oh, that sounds so interesting. I hadn't heard about your Mormon experiment before.
Oh, long story short, I grew up Mormon. I believed as long as that a child believes what their parents tell them. After that, I didn't really believe. Then, when I turned 19, I decided I needed to throw myself into it, live as I
Oh,
was told to live, and
wow.
truly know for certain whether or not it was true or not.
That
And
is a good way to get it out of your system. Well, I don't know if it's a really good
yeah,
way, but
well,
it's an effective
after
way for
about
sure.
after about a year and a half, I realized, I have begged, and so if God is, if this Mormon God is real, either
Mm.
He doesn't want me to know, or He's not, and
Yeah.
I'm sick of feeling like I'm a super shitty person for being gay and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh my God, that
Yeah,
is so
no.
similar to my story. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's
That
really
was a big,
similar.
yeah, that was a big one. I mean, during that time, I was basically looking for reasons good enough for me, eh,
Mm.
good enough to deny what just came naturally to me in a lot of
Mm.
ways, not just
Mm.
being pan,
Mm. Not being what? Sorry?
which I am. I like dudes too, obviously. I married two of them. Being
Pan, sorry.
pansexual.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, but not just that, but just a lot of things. I just didn't fit, you know?
Yeah, I sure know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got ADHD too. Yeah. It's perfectly mild. It doesn't feel mild. It feels like it's totally, yeah, a
Oh, mine's
lucky thing to have.
mine's pretty
Yeah.
damn severe.
Right. But do you get the hyperactivity bit of it? I feel like I miss out on. I feel like cheated that I don't get that because I don't even get the spurts. I just, ugh. I just have the
Um, only
lack of
only in the
concentration.
fidget department. I am an incredibly sedentary person physically, unfortunately. My body would
Mm,
be happier if I weren't, but I fidget and my brain races. So, yeah.
okay, yeah. And can you go
which
like
is part
on?
of the reason. Yeah,
Sorry.
which is part of the reason why nobody thought I was ADHD for a very long time. Anyway.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. And then there's also the fact that there was that bias historically about it only being a guy's thing or predominantly a guy's thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That well, and that added into it because typically, I mean, not universally. Obviously, there are it's across the board, but the more subtle
I'm sorry, I'm just reading. Sorry,
hyperactivity,
I'm so sorry.
the more subtle hyperactivity types, the fidgeting, the internal hyperactivity, those tend to happen more often in girls than in guys, which is part of why girls didn't end up getting diagnosed. It just isn't as obvious.
Yeah, right,
It's
yeah.
how they fail, and
Yeah, that's, yeah. And that sort of combines too with other differences between boys and girls. I mean,
yeah,
girls are much better with fine tuning, what is it, fine motor skills, whereas boys are much more physical and rowdy in general. And to do with, obviously, to do with conditioning as well.
yeah, socialization, a lot of it. Girls are just socialized to be. They are taught by rote more social nicety too. So the
Mm.
social awkwardness of neurodivergence isn't as obvious in girls until
Yeah,
usually later.
yeah.
So there are a
Yeah,
lot of
and
reasons.
I feel like AFABs are often are better, are better schooled in relational skills. You know, just not schooled in terms of like the school system, but just well, it's more like a cultural thing. It's to do with the norms, I think, as well. As well as
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's a biological contribution to that as
Oh,
well. I don't know.
bio break.
Oh, that's
Muting.
terrible, Andrew. No, sorry.
I was actually just about to say, I was typing this, that I was going to have to pass the host role either to Kelly here or Miss Non Sequitur, if people want to continue chatting. Um, and you know, I definitely want people to feel like they can keep going. I'm just gonna be closing down the live stream portion, but the event can keep going for as long as there is a stage moderator in here.
That's nice. By the way, Ms. Non-Secretary, you're muted.
Yes, she said she needed to do a quick bio break.
Oh, bad. My bad.
No worries.
That's my ADHD. I drop out mentally.
No, it's all right. It was it was kind of, I think, some multiple people, just bad timing, talked at the same time. So no worries about that.
You're right. Yes, I think the delay obviously feeds into that.
That is a
So,
big issue, yeah.
so good talking to you tonight. Again, Vic. Yeah, it's good to connect with somebody else who's dealing with chronic illness.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, if you ever want to chat about it, my DMs are open. You
Cool.
know,
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
I welcome anybody who needs some support with that.
And I
Yeah.
can hang out for a while longer. I'm not sure how much longer, and I may need to kind of like say, "Oh, spoons are gone. I'm ending now," but I'm up for a while longer. I took a late nap, and now I'm finding myself with a sudden burst of post sickness energy. So
I know what you mean. I've gotten that. Yeah, so I've been today was a very busy, stressful day, so I'm definitely ready to lie down for now. So I want to pass on the host role first to I, I guess it could be shared between Miss Non Sequitur and Kelly. Just depends on
Oh,
who stays the
whichever. I
longest.
mean, if
Let Miss Non Sequitur take it because I am going to have to leave in a little bit myself. So
I
yeah,
figured.
that's why I volunteered, because I thought Kelly had said that he was gonna head
yeah,
out
I
in
got
the
to
not
get up
too
early.
distant
Yeah,
future.
All
I don't
right, that
want to
sounds
get up
great.
early, but I have to.
No worries. All right, so
Well,
Miss Non Sequitur will take
but
priority
yeah, let's
here.
touch base this week, and yeah, let's touch base this week and reschedule that meeting we had. Sorry,
Sure.
I just, oh man, it
No
was
worries. Yeah, just message
it was
me
one of those bad ones.
whenever you feel like you're available. So, don't worry about it.
Thank
Feel
you.
better.
I'm sorry to be so flaky.
It's all right. I've been there. It's, nothing I haven't done. So, all right. Everybody have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream.
Good night, Beth.
Okay, all
Night,
right.
wifey.
Right.
Take care. Really good talking to you all.